First and foremost, you are obviously going to be given a role play card. Now, in all the role plays, you are going to play the role of a doctor. Now, the first thing you have to do when you receive your role play card is to review your role play thoroughly. So you're going to have like the overview. So the overview is going to tell you what the situation is about. You have the setting. Please do not ignore the setting because most candidates tend to ignore it, right? Now, the setting gives you an idea of where the whole conversation is taking place. So usually you see settings like emergency room, intensive care unit, or you will see like a suburban clinic. Okay. Now, why do you have to understand? Because sometimes in the role play card, it doesn't state clearly whether it's a first time meeting or a follow-up meeting. It can be very hard to tell or extract that information. If you are finding it difficult to decide, just look at the setting, right? If the setting is the emergency room or in the ICU, then the idea is that you probably have met this patient before, or perhaps you have read the patient's medical history. Just imagine working in the hospital in the intensive care unit, right? When the patient is in the medical ward and you are going to talk to the patient, you are not going to ask the patient, "Hi, my name is Isabella. I'm one of the doctors here. What brings you here today?" No, that would be very strange. Now, the idea is that you've probably read through the patient's medical history, so you would initiate the conversation in a slightly different way, right? So you probably initiate the conversation by asking the patient, "Hey, Mr. Peterson, how are you feeling today?" Or you can say, "As a reminder, Isabella, I'm one of the doctors in this emergency room. Before we start our conversation, Mr. Peterson, I would like to know how you are feeling today," right? Whereas let's say in a suburban clinic or let's say outpatient setting, um, it's two scenarios. You are either meeting the patient for the first time, or it will be stated clearly in the role play card that you've met the patient before, or perhaps the patient is coming for um, um, their blood results or their ultrasound results or something like that, right? So, or a refill, right? So you need to sort of refill your prescription. So in that case, you would either introduce yourself as if you're meeting the patient for the first time, or you can also acknowledge based on the role play card that you have met the patient before. So it's very important to make that, distinction. Am I meeting the patient for the first time or is it a follow-up meeting? But nevertheless, also, I don't think it's a huge violation if you introduce yourself as if you're meeting the patient for the first time. But just don't do that for the intensive care unit. It sounds very weird to ask the patient in the ICU, what brings you here today? Okay.